Something happened to me that I've been thinking about all day. And if you know me, maybe I'm just overthinking it. I had a breakfast meeting in Sylmar, and I got there 45 minutes early, thinking that I was gonna allocate some time for me to drink some coffee and read my book, read a chapter or two. The coffee shop was filled with Latinos. I felt at home, but then I noticed something. Almost everybody was on their phones, and I started looking around to see if I see somebody reading or on a laptop. And then something really strange happened. I sat down, opened up my reading glasses case, and I pulled out my book. And suddenly, I felt self-conscious. And to be honest with you, I don't even know why, because nobody said anything to me. Nobody laughed at me, nobody was staring at me, but I felt judged for reading a book, and an uglier thought entered my head. Do I look like a uppity Latino reading a book while everybody else is just hanging out? And immediately, I felt uncomfortable, and I started wondering where that was coming from, because I love my community. I'm proud of being from Los Angeles, but throughout my life, I'm constantly hearing people ask me, "Are you sure you grew up in Los Angeles? You don't sound like you're from LA." And I've always wondered, what am I exactly supposed to sound like? And this morning, for the first time, that question became, what am I supposed to look like? Because if I think about it, here's what really bothered me. I walked in a room full of people who looked like me, and somehow I made myself feel like the outsider. And processing that, I don't feel like anybody else did that to me. Maybe I did it to myself. And then I realized something else that made me even more uncomfortable. I looked around the room and made assumptions about everybody else because they were on their phones and not talking to each other. Then I put on my reading glasses, opened up the book, and I assumed people were making the same assumptions about me. I was just afraid that I was getting the same judgment that I was quietly giving everybody else in that room. And maybe nobody was looking at me thinking, look at this fool with his book. And it made me think about something bigger. Like, can we grow into a different version of ourselves without feeling like we're growing away from where we came from? And are we still being ourselves? Are we still representing our community? I think the answer is yes. But now I think that the hardest person to convince of that is ourselves. I think my fear was that somehow who I've become could be interpreted as me believing that I'm better than my community or the people in my community. Where I come from is part of who I am. So maybe I was overthinking the entire situation. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't be the first time, but I've been thinking about that moment all day. And I'm curious if anybody out there has ever felt like this. Like, have you grown into a version of yourself that suddenly made you feel like an outsider?